Hey, good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right, if I could have your attention, I have something I need to tell you, and then I'm going to turn it over to Elijah for announcements. I'm Leonard Browning, Pastor Len, one of the elders here at the Journey, and I am not in control today. Hey, I wanted to give you an update. The Journey, we are meeting with representatives from law enforcement and first responders in our community. We're primarily meeting with the sheriff and the chief of police. And one of the things we're going to do with the Dollar Club from this year and probably into next year is we're going to help to establish a law enforcement / first responder benefit benevolent fund. And so if that strikes a chord with you, you can give more the rest of this year, which is just a few days, or it'll continue into 2025 a bit. And then we're going to take part of the money and just take care of some needs we know of in the community that are outside of the church. So we appreciate your faithfulness, your generosity in giving to the Dollar Club. And that's a fund that we just save money all year long, and at the end of the year we do something in the community outside of the church for. And I've had a couple of conversations with Chief Cochran and Sheriff Casey Hume, and they're both really excited about establishing a benevolent fund for law enforcement and first responders in our community. It's quite common and something that's not currently happening here, and we thought we would help make that happen. So anyway, thanks so much again. So we'll see how much money we end up with. We'll help start that fund, and then we'll take care of some needs we know of in the community as well. So thanks again for being here, and have a great day.
That's our favorite owl right there, if you guys don't know. That's older, wiser, loving saints. We all love him. If you don't know, he's been around since dinosaur poop was still steaming, so we love him. Hey, I'm Elijah. I've been here since I had to go to Sunday school. So I've been here for a very long time, and people have asked me, why don't I get to do announcements every week? And it's just like football. The first seed always gets a bye. So that's just, tends to happen. So we have red connection cards, which just means we want to know you, because we need all your personal information. I'm just kidding. So we can pray for you, stuff like that. So we need to know, you guys need to know that we actually care about you, which is very true. And then we have blue, which is prayer and praise requests, stuff like that. If you want to tell us something good is in your life or something that needs to be prayed for that's bad, like somebody's little cousin, and pray for those guys. Those guys need some help. Welcome to Youth Sunday. If you guys didn't know that this was Youth Sunday. Oh my gosh, I skipped a connection card. I'm so sorry. It's only like my third time up here. I'm sorry. So green is like get involved and serve. You want to help volunteer with the church. You want to help set tables up, stuff like that. You want to help clean these chairs, because I know some of you do, because they need to be cleaned. I'm taking shots at the administration. I'm so sorry. All right, so we got Youth Sunday service today. And if you didn't know it was Youth Sunday service today, just turn to that person and go, it's about to go down. Because it's a little different, and Andrew put on a show for you guys, so you better be ready and thank him for that. And a little shorter today of Finish Strong 2024, because it is December 29th, and we want your money. So, short tangent, I was supposed to be in that photo, and I wasn't there today. And it's like, why wasn't I in that photo? It's because you're 6'4", you wouldn't fit in the frame, dude. I had a bye? I hate the Chiefs, but I guess I am the Chiefs. All right. Finish Song 2024. We would like just a little bit of donations because you're literally paying Andrew's paycheck right now. And you would help Sierra the Dollar Club, missions and youth group, which is Andrew's paycheck, and the building fund, and help with later Christmas and families in need, maybe for a New Year's gift. Also, the Journey Dollar Club, which is there's a little black box at the very end of the sanctuary, says tithings and offerings, and that helps out with literally everything going on with this church. All right, so there is a ladies' after Christmas girl party, and it says to bring your drip. Show of hands who actually knows what that word means. That dude knows what that word means. I'm very surprised that you do. Oh yeah, he coaches basketball. Yeah. All right, so if you don't know what that means, it basically means come in whatever you think looks really good on you, like jewelry, stuff like that. And really what you need to know is since none of you own Supreme, which is a clothing brand, just color code your stuff, all right? Because you don't color code your stuff. You're wearing red and green. I know it's Christmas, but after Christmas, color code your stuff. You'll look great. Don't follow Andrew's fashion. He doesn't know what he's doing. All right, so Children's Church will resume right after this. Thank you so much for being here today. And last one, to receive tests, you're going to, I don't know the number because it wasn't written on. We just written it down. It's not on there. 87447. Text that because the journey can text you and get involved and stuff like that. And we need to know what's going on in your life. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to have a great Sunday. Everybody else, come up. My show's over.
Let's go up. You know, she goes, now you got drip. You know, I should be prepared for things like this in youth ministry. So thanks, you guys. It is Youth Sunday, and we're very glad to be putting on the service this morning. So, and now I'm festive. Now I'm ready to go. Hey, I want to introduce a student of our youth program and someone who's become a personal friend of mine. This is Nicholas Bailey. Yes. And this morning, I've asked Nick to come and share part of his testimony with our congregation. In youth group recently, we've started kind of a time where I asked the room if anyone has a moment of faith to share from their week. Something that God has done in their life or a conversation that they've gotten to have with someone in our community that encourages them to share their faith, to shine bright for Christ, and something that they can share to encourage our group. And in the past year, Nick has grown a lot, and life has taken him through ups and downs, as you'll hear in part this morning. And so I just thought that Nick could encourage us this morning with some of his life story and some recent events that have been happening and some things that God is doing in his life and in his heart. And so I'm very excited and privileged to have Nick come and share with us this morning. So could you please give a warm welcome to my friend, Nick. All right.
Have any of you guys ever felt lost, hopeless, or even betrayed by the ones you trusted most? In life, we all go through things that make us feel this way, but what's important is making sure we look up towards God. By doing this, we allow Him to strengthen and guide us during these times, which in turn makes all things easier. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, truly showing His love the effect his love has on our lives. A few years back, I went through a series of events that made it easy to question my faith in God. A while back, I was living in Grand Junction with my bio mom and my sister. 4th of July weekend, I was out of town camping with some friends, and when I got back, I received a message from my mom saying, "Don't come home, the house is gone." It says, "Call grandma to get a hold of me." Turns out our house had caught fire while I was out of town with my friends due to a firewood. And while at first it was kind of easy to blame God and, question him for why did he let these things happen in my life and all these things? What I didn't realize at the time is he was working in my life through friends, and they had a major effect on my life. One of my friends at the time, Micah, I ended up living with him for a few months during this period. My other friend gave me and my family $300 to try to help us get back on our feet, and God provided safety over our family. There was an oxygen tank in the living room where the fire took place, and the fire department had no idea about it when the fire was spreading, so it could have, blown up and caused even a bigger problem. But fire never blew up, no one was injured, and everyone made it out safely. Less than a year later, I decided to move here to trade with my dad and my stepmom. Less than a week after that, my mom made the decision. Well, my mom attempted suicide. And when she woke up, she told me how it was all my fault, how I'm selfish for my decision to move to trade. This started a whole chain of events in my life where it made it really easy to question my faith. I didn't question why God let these things happen, just why everything's going on in my life. And if he's so good, why would this happen to me? Again, he was working in my life, though, and I may have not realized it then, but looking back on it now, that was a key event in my faith. For one, she lived, she made it, right? The doctor said she wouldn't, but she woke up. It also led to me staying in trade, which gave me many opportunities, places to work, a loving family, loving friends, and a loving community. And now she's even trying to fix her past mistakes and build a relationship with me again. Less than a year after all this happened, my grandpa passed away. He was kind of the centerpiece of our family at the time, and so it made it really easy to almost expect more bad things to happen, right? In 3 years, all this stuff had happened, and so it made it really easy just to expect another thing and another thing and another thing. Well, after all this, Romans 8:5 says, "For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit." This verse right here shows that the mind is a powerful place. It takes a lot of effect on how we live our everyday lives. And if we live in the Spirit and we look towards God, things will go well. But if you live in the flesh and you look towards the bad things of the world, life is not going to be easy. Proverbs 23:7 also says, "So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," showing what we think is who we are. However, during all of this, God was working, and it would have been easier to seek him than rather to stand alone in the storm. During this, he brought our family together. The centerpiece, we may have lost the centerpiece of our family, but during this time, all of us came together and was there for one another. Heading into Young Life Camp this winter, I had taken the pain of all these events and held on to them, which caused what I would call the worst period of my faith. It made me question God more than I ever have before, even questioning if he was real at times. When we got to camp, we had a guest speaker named Ty, and he talked about crises of faith and how he went through one. And he sat in that same club room and just asked God to show him that he's real. In his mind, he thought of 2 Corinthians 5:7. "We live by faith, not by sight." And that verse has played a huge effect on my life since Young Life Camp. Because the night before we had that talk, I had prayed to God, asking him for the same prayer that Ty prayed that night. I asked him if he can just show me he's real, show me a sign. Give me something to know that he's still out there with me, right? And so the next day when Ty mentioned that verse, 2 Corinthians 5:7, it really hit me. And so the next day after that, I recommitted my life to Jesus at camp, which led to me returning to church, youth group, and Young Life, which is why I'm here sharing my story with you guys today. To those who are struggling, I encourage you to look up to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Matthew 7:7-8 says, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be open to you."
mercy, and I am reading Psalm 121. I lift my eyes toward the mountain. Where will my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to slip. Your protector will not slumber. Indeed, the protector of Israel does not slumber or sleep. The Lord protects you. The Lord is a shelter right by your side. The sun will not strike you by day, or the moon by night. The Lord will protect you from all harm. He will protect your life. The Lord will protect your coming and going, both now and forever.
When Elijah said, "Get ready. You don't know what could happen on Youth Sunday," I didn't realize he was talking directly to me. I should have been ready. Church, how beautiful are our stories. Even stories from our youth, who, though they are young in age, have stories. I'm grateful for Nick and his vulnerability to share with us. And I have been praying that God would use it, as I know he does not waste anything. We're glad for all of our students that make up our youth group, and we all have stories. And this morning you got to hear a story of a life changed by Jesus, by Nick having an active faith and walking in that, and how he looked up to the Lord, the author and perfecter of our faith, for his hope. That encourages me. I'm sitting there, and I've heard this story many times, and I'm still getting choked up about it. So, well, this morning, I get the honor to bring us our message, and I always am very excited for Youth Sunday and for our kids to be involved and to have an opportunity to serve you guys and have some fun with you, right? We can have fun when we walk with Jesus. This morning, our theme, our whole thrust of our service and of my message is looking up. Where are we looking right now in our lives? I want you to think about that question as I continue this morning, and we'll get back to it at the end. Where are you looking right now for your hope, for your peace? Maybe you currently are in a struggle. So where are you looking in your life for hope and peace right now? I want to cover 3 things this morning with us. I want to suggest that looking up changes our surroundings. Looking up changes our perspective. And looking up changes our hearts. Changes our hearts. Hebrews 12:1. Nick said this in his testimony. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. It's important to surround ourselves with believers. What I love about Nick's story is that when he really decided to commit back to Christ, he started going to things in his life that he knew are good for him. By being surrounded by people at Young Life and people at youth group and people at church, you guys. Maybe you know some of our young people in our church because they're your kids or your grandchildren or your cousins or cousin brothers or whatever the connection is. It's a small town. Lots of you are related. I know that. Maybe you know some of them, maybe you don't, but they also see you. They also see you and how you interact with each other and how you interact with them at church. So know that you have an impact on our students as well, right? I might lead the charge on Thursday nights, but it takes a whole lot more influence from parents and volunteers and church members. So surrounding ourselves by a great cloud of witnesses, being by people who are going to encourage us in our faith and walk alongside us and be with us in our life, no matter what we're going through. I think that's one thing that shines through Nick's story this morning. Looking down can lead inwards. Self-critique, low self-esteem. I think when we fix our eyes downwards, sometimes we also are looking inwards. And when we look inwards, we have a very short view of things. And our perspective is cloudy. And we get maybe selfish sometimes. And, oh, my life is so hard. My life is a struggle. I'm going through this. And I think we self-isolate sometimes when we go through storms in our life, when we go through challenging times, when we're hurting from loss, or just the days, the toll of living as humans. It's hard. It's hard to be an adult. I had a conversation with someone recently, and they were like, yeah, and I was saying something about my issues, and they're like, it's hard to be an adult, Andrew. Welcome to the club. I was like, I've only recently started to feel like an adult, and I don't really feel that all the way yet, as most of you know. You're not supposed to agree out loud, man. I have to surround myself with a great cloud of witnesses in this community, and that makes a huge difference for me when I'm running my race. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. When you're running a race, it's important to look up and ahead. Looking down while running can disrupt your own posture and efficiency. So keep your head up and gaze focused on a further point down the course. This is what AI Google says on how to run. Okay? When you're running a race, it's important to look up and ahead and pick something out in front to aim towards when you're running. Now, our in-house running experts, Dave and Jen Pressgrove, are not here to correct me if that's true or not. I feel like it is. I have a few cross-country kids in here, right? You want to be looking ahead. It helps your posture. It helps your focus. It helps you have vision, looking ahead. Not looking down where you are, but looking ahead can help you run your race with endurance, as it says in Hebrews 12:1. Our second point, looking up changes our perspective. It changes our perspective. I was on a hike recently. Sarah and I went to a national park in Utah, Brighton, or at Zion. Yes, that's the one. We went to Zion. And you can show the first photo with the people in it. Yep. Yes. This was over Thanksgiving break. We went to visit some friends. We started off our hike together, and we had to cross this bridge. And I realized that when you're looking down, this is all you see. If I didn't tell you where I was at Zion National Park, you would maybe not be able to tell. This could be Loudy, for all we know. Trees in the fall, right? But what you don't see is everything that is surrounding us in that photo. That's what really was there. That was the view that we got to take in if we changed our view. When you're walking, sometimes it's just easy to look right in front of you. But when you looked up, that was what we saw. Beauty, God's creation, shining so bright. I haven't been to a lot of national parks yet, and I was amazed by the beauty of that park. It's interesting because as we were walking on the trail, Sarah is walking and she looks down and she almost trips. And she goes, "Oh, I almost forgot to look up. I almost forgot to look up." And we're at the end of the trail, and she's been looking down at her feet the whole time, and then kind of like, "Oh, the hike's almost done," and I haven't been taking it in. I haven't been changing my perspective on what's in front of me to what's ahead of me. I want to suggest to us this morning that when we're walking our Christian life, walking with Jesus, in step with Jesus, I think more often than not, he wants us to look ahead. He wants us to look towards what he has for us. Every once in a while, when you're on a trail, sometimes you look backwards and you see if there's people coming up behind you or, see what's going on. I think we should fully acknowledge what God has brought us through. And that's what we do with sharing our testimonies in front of groups and acknowledging what God has brought us through. But I really think that he doesn't want us to stay there. He wants us to look ahead, wants us to look forward to the promises he has for us, the future he has for us. He doesn't want us to get stuck in our moments on our path where it gets hard and there's roots and we trip. He has a full life for us, walking in step with him, walking with Jesus daily, picking up our cross and bearing it with him, and walking in newness, in the newness of life that we can experience when we have Jesus in our heart. My hope and prayer is that we all have done that before. Pastor Len gave an opportunity for those in the Christmas Eve service to make that commitment to follow Christ with their life and give him their heart. And it was a beautiful service. I don't know if all of you were there, but it was packed. We had over 350 people here, and it was a beautiful service. I got a photo of the candlelight. I should have put it up. I can have Nadine send it out in an email if you want to see it. But it was a beautiful shot of all of you guys here with your candles during Silent Night. And it was just a beautiful reminder of me of the fullness of life that we were worshiping Jesus together and remembering him during this holiday time, putting him first, right, in our walk. So that photo is a beautiful reminder for me of that. So looking down can lead to missing what's right in front of us, right? I'm not blowing your minds with anything crazy today. It's pretty straightforward, but I think it's a reminder that we need to hear. And it's been something that God has been showing me and putting on my heart, how it really can affect how we act and how we walk, what we're looking towards. And finally, looking up changes our hearts. Looking up changes our hearts. Looking down can actually turn us desensitized to others and maybe have a hardened heart. If we're, again, focusing on what we're going through, on only our problems, I feel like the world gets pretty short and shut off. I believe serving is one of the best ways to interact with your faith and serve Jesus and serve others. And if you're struggling or you're having a tough day, try blessing someone. Try doing something nice for someone in that moment and see what that does to your heart. See what that does by actively trying to bless someone even when you're struggling. And in turn, you might be blessed by that and feel some sense of, wow, like by serving, we also get served. We also get blessed. Looking up towards Christ, the author and perfecter of our faith, leads to worship. I think looking upwards to Christ can lead to worship. It can lead to an appreciation of what we have around us, of our life, of our blessings, of what God has given us. I saw a TikTok video the other day, because I am young and on TikTok, sorry. And it had a young man staring at an empty Christmas tree. Like there. With no gifts underneath it. And the caption read, "Where did all the gifts go?" Then the music paused, and it said in bold letters underneath the video, "Look around." And it showed the young man going about his day, and it pointed out all the things that he did. He woke up, he ate, he exercised, he spent time outside in creation, he had a roof over his head. I don't know if that was a spiritually related post, but what I took from that is look around. Our life is a gift. Our life is a blessing. That helps lead our hearts towards worship, being appreciative of what we have in front of us and what God is doing for us and for our families and for our town. That gives us more than enough reason to celebrate and give thanks. I truly believe that. Mercy Fontenot read us Psalms 121, and I want to go back there for a moment. As we think about our perspective and where we lift our eyes, I love at the start of this passage, Psalms 121, "I lift up my eyes to the mountains. For where does my help come from?" So first, the author is saying, I shift my focus from where I am, from down, I look upwards. It's symbolic, but it means looking up towards Christ, right? Looking up towards something greater than us. "My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." He's protecting us. He's watching over us. "The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore." That verse has ministered to me over my years walking with Jesus in my Christian walk. And I always come back to that. I lift my eyes to the mountains. Whenever I'm struggling, whenever I'm having a hard heart, I pause and I try to look around, count my blessings, and it shifts my perspective towards Jesus, and it leads my heart towards worship. This morning, I want to ask us to think about things that we can praise Jesus for, that we can thank God for. So, now in this moment, I'll give us a couple seconds to think of 3 things that you're grateful for, that you can praise Jesus for, that you can proclaim in your life currently, right now, no matter what season you're in, whether you're on the highest of highs or the lowest of lows. I think we're all aware that the Christmas season can also be hard for our friends, for our family, for people who are experiencing loss or are remembered by loss because of this time of year. Some of you know that my grandma is in hospice, and we're just counting down her days, but we're able to usher her into heaven. We're praying with her. We're preparing with her for her to be with the Lord. And that's what gives me hope. I'm flying out tonight, and I don't know if she'll still be with us, but I'm praying for my heart that God prepares my heart. Either way, if I get to see her one more time or if I don't, she was a big pillar in my life, a person who prayed for me faithfully and brought me up in righteousness, and she was a deacon at her church, and she's an amazing woman, and I'm very grateful for the 24 years that I got with her. So I'm praising God for that. Even in sadness of losing a loved one, she has leukemia, that there is rejoicing. So search your hearts. Even wherever you're at, I think there's 3 things that you can be grateful for and praise God for together. And I know some of you don't always use those cards, even though we tell you every week to use the cards to tell us how we can pray for you and how we can praise with you. So we're going to praise God together right now. A couple more seconds. I think you can hit 3 things, okay? I think you can hit 3 things. Now I want us, on my count, because at youth group, we like to make noise, like to have fun, and I want us to shout out at the same time our 3 things that we're praising God for. We're going to make some noise, and we're going to praise God together for the things in our life that we can thank him for and help our hearts shift towards worship. Okay, are we ready? I need you guys to be loud. You need to lead the charge, gang, okay? 3 things in your life that you're thankful for. Let's hear it. Ready, set, go. Family, grandma, faith. Yes, I heard some of those. It's beautiful, beautiful noise. Thank you, guys. Let's do that all the time. Let's remember to give thanks and praise to God, the author and perfecter of our faith. Well, as we come to a close, you might have noticed that when you came in, hopefully you had a balloon on your seat. Some of you have been messing with them, and I knew that would happen. Some of you already blew yours up, Jerry Joya. But if you haven't, I want you don't have some? Oh, come take some. Oh, I didn't even give any for my kids. It's messed up. You guys, we wanted to leave you a balloon this morning as a reminder, as a visual illustration of what we think the Christian walk should be. And that is, can someone hand me a deflated balloon? Yeah, one for you. Oh, thank you, Abby. You're too slow. Sorry. This balloon is kind of sad looking, right? It's deflated. It's just sitting here. It has not fulfilled its full purpose to be filled, to be full, and to be lifted up. That's what balloons do, right? So, as in our Christian walk, we need to be full of the Holy Spirit, daily pick up our cross, daily ask for the Lord's help to fill us with his joy, fill us with his peace, fill us with his joy that we can experience in any circumstance. So, you have 2 options. One, you can take this home as a reminder that you want to live a life full, right? A balloon without air, it's not fulfilling its full purpose. And just like us, without spending time with the Lord, asking him to fill us daily, I believe we're not really walking in our full potential with the Lord and to have a full, vibrant, healthy relationship with the Lord. And so, what I'd like to encourage us to do right now is take your balloon, and if you are willing and able, blow it up and tie it off. Now, not too big because we don't want to pop them. Oh, we got a squeaker. Hey, hang on to them. Don't let them go. All right. Hey, if you have a tied off balloon, hold it up for